Alright, so I wasn't going to install this until I did a few other things on the Jeep, but I'm at the point now where I need to stop buying parts and really start installing them. I have quite the stack waiting to go on already. So this is the engine skid. This is the steel engine skid from Under Cover Fabworks. And I'm going to get this on tonight. I already have a belly up skid pan from Under Cover Fabworks, so I bought this too. I'm less worried about protecting the engine oil pan, and I'm more worried about protecting the transmission pan because the transmission is really big and hangs pretty low, and this will cover that too. Alright, it's pretty difficult to get a camera shot of this, but I'll do my best. So here's the bottom of the motor mount right here, and this bracket goes right there. Alright, so the instructions say to install these bolts facing down out of those holes. 1, 2. This goes on like this. Yeah. Washer, lock nut. Now I'll do the driver's side, same thing. Alright, I got the driver's side in and torqued. I glanced at the instructions and the pictures online, and the pictures show the bolts going up for the driver's side instead of down. So that's not what it says in the instructions, but that's what it shows in the pictures. So I installed it with the bolts going up. It's a little more difficult, but it's in there. Alright, time to install the struts. There is one that's slightly longer, and it goes on the driver's side. So I have a motor mount lift, so I'm able to use the bottom holes on this skid plate, which will help it sit up higher, give me a little more clearance. Alright, I got an interference problem. That exhaust pipe is hitting the skid plate right there. That cutout is not far back enough. This cutout right here is too far forward. It should be back here. And I can't slide the skid back any farther because the bend here is already hitting the front of the belly pan. So I'm going to have to mark that area, take the skid back down, and grind a big notch out of it to make that, or to give that exhaust clearance. Everywhere else looks okay though. It's just that one spot. Alright, I got it back out on the workbench here. I'm going to notch that section out. Alright, I got a notch cut out. Clean it up, hit it with some paint. Should be good to go now. There we go, look at that. Perfect. I've got it pushed up all the way, flush with the belly pan. I've got about a finger width's clearance on this side to the transmission, and the same on the other side too. So got to drill 4 holes. Okay, all 4 holes are drilled. I'm going to put some red Loctite on these button head screws because these, for whatever reason, these nuts they come with aren't lock nuts like the rest of them. "33 foot-pounds. Alright, that's it. Alright, that's one more project down. I was going to wait to do the rear main seal and the oil pan and maybe the oil pump prior to installing that. But like I said, I got to get stuff installed and get it out of the way. I got way too many parts just sitting around not doing anything. The rear main's not leaking that bad anyway, and it makes good oil pressure, so it's not that big of a deal. So I feel a lot better having that skid plate there. I really wanted it for the transmission because that transmission pan hangs down pretty low with the belly up, so I feel a lot better about it now. I did paint that skid, I didn't mention that. It doesn't come painted. I painted it with some Rust-Oleum, so it'll be easy to touch up later on once it gets scratched up. If I did this again, I would probably just go with a Barnes belly up and a Barnes engine skid plate. I wouldn't have had to drill holes in the Barnes one, and I probably wouldn't have had to grind part of it to make it fit either. I looked online, and apparently I'm not the only one that's had some fitment issues with Under Cover Fabworks engine skid, so whatever. The only modification I had to do was notch that little bit of extra clearance where the exhaust pipe was touching it. But I have a motor mount lift, and I have a ton of room everywhere else. There's room all around the oil pan and the exhaust everywhere else. No issue whatsoever. I could probably move it up even higher if there was another set of bolt holes. So I'm done with that, and more to come.